All right, real quick. I had a question from old classmate from Sterling. Shout out to Sterling, Ross Sterling. Um, Old cheerleader. Sorry, see me twirler slash band member, whatever. Anyway, good day. So the question was about starting a nonprofit. So my general advice is to you need to figure out what you want to do. What area do you want to reach? So if you want to reach, say boys, I'm just giving an example, boys from ages 5 to 21, you need to do some research on what area you want to work in, meaning what area of town or where these boys will be coming from for your nonprofit. You also need to figure out, and you got to look at school records and things like that to see where what's going on in the schools, what's going on with their behavior. Because when you're doing a nonprofit, that nonprofit generally has to address something. So, like say right now, just for example, you would look at Fort Bend or HSD. You would look at their conduct, right? You're not looking at no one's specific conduct, but you're looking at, this is an example of a school project that I did. So you'll look at their conduct and you'll say, okay, boys from 5 to whatever, 21, or let's stop it. Because when you're looking at some stuff, you got to look at the age bracket. So 5, let's do elementary, 5 to 12. And you'll say they have conduct problems or whatever. So your program may address, hey, let me put in them characteristics, like things like social norms or whatever. Let me just break that down even further and stop talking social work talk or in research talk, and just say you'll be trying to address why they're acting up in class. Basically, you'll do things with them like fishing. You could do things with them like horseback riding or hunting or boat riding. So you're teaching them things that they are not learning at home. And this would give them time to be able to meet, meet with men, or maybe they might not have a man in their life, so that they could learn these things, different things. So therefore, they act out in school. So, there you go. Then you'll say, well, this will address that. Okay, so after that part, then you're going to need to find you someone who really knows what they're doing, because they will need to research for you and figure out where your program, what is it going to be addressing. So in that research, that means you'll look at different programs. Like, that's not something just regular people do. I ain't saying you can't do it, but just advice. You'll look and you'll find where those where the other programs, and they don't have to be exactly like yours, but you'll research that and find out what they address and what was the outcome. So that's research, right? So you got to do research to start these programs. Next, I would say make sure you get you a good board. That board, have rules for your board. Develop your board. Go to YouTube, figure it out, or research, Google. That's one of our friends, right? It'll tell you so much, but at the same time, you're gonna need somebody who know what they doing. I'm just saying. Then that person that you get, they'll go out and they'll find you grants for this program. You'll start out, and you may start out with only a couple of boys, right? And your program could be small, so sometimes you got to kind of start small, and you may have 5 boys or whatever, and then you'll just take those 5 boys, and then you'll do it, by donation, right? But at the same time, you're keeping count of what you're doing. Okay, you took them fishing, you took them hunting, you taught them about cows, you taught them about how to plant, different things, that something that you're addressing that they're not learning at home, right? You may have just taken them and played football with them, or to a basketball game, to a football game, things like that. Things to where you're spending time with them and you're getting to know them, and then they'll be where they finally feel comfortable to talk to you, right? But you're keeping whatever you talk about confidential, as long as it isn't something where they're saying that they are being molested or something like that, or being abused, then you will have to report that. Okay, that's on a whole nother thing. So it's, different classes and things that you'll need to take, because if you're working with children, you'll need to be certified. That's just how it goes and how programs work. You got your board, you got your program and what you're going to address, then you need your grants. So you'll need someone to write these grants for you, or you can try to write them yourself. I.e., I say get someone to write it for you, because it will go faster and you'll be able to address the needs that you're trying to address, and you won't be just like all your concentration on finding grant money, because it takes concentration to do that. All right, then after that, you're going to want to make sure whoever you get, or an accountant, you're going to need an accountant, because they have to look at how much money you have coming in and what you have going out. And you'll need a lawyer, right? Insurance, and then later on you'll need a van for how you getting around, and it'll be all kind of things. You'll need to get them snacks. So just from me running a lot of youth programs and things like that, like these things are things that I know off the top of my head. And because I've been getting grants since I was 19, and just like working with my grandmother, she kind of taught me about working with youth and what needs to go on and what you need to input into them, and I just kept on doing it in the community. And with different church programs I worked with, it's just something that I grew into liking doing. Once you find your gift, you stick with it. Okay, so you got your people, you got your grants, and then you need to keep up and make sure that you're addressing that grant, or each grant that you have. So someone has to keep up with that. And then this is another part that I had to end up knowing. Sometimes you got to delegate work, so you got to find people that you trust and hire them, because it can get overwhelming if you're trying to handle too much of this, right? And the other part is then once you move, your program, you'll notice it's going to start growing bigger and bigger. So you'll need to start hiring people who know what they're doing, i.e. accountants, sometimes counselors, and especially if you're working with these young boys who are coming out of urban communities. There are going to be some things that need to be addressed. That's why I say the counseling. You'll need some social workers. You'll need some, and if you go higher to these, if you go higher to the high school boys, you're going to need some what they call them, the chemicalists that address things like, or you can work with another program to address that in your program, to where you don't have to pay for it or hire these people. So that's another way. You can just work with vendors, right? So it's all kind of ways that you can work your program. So that's gonna be up to you to research that and figure it out. So that's all I have for today. I just tried to give it to you real quick as I'm on my way to meetings. All right, you guys have a good day.